evening, YouTube. You guys end up watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today, for build breakdown, we're going to be playing Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is an awesome deck. And before I actually get started, I wanted to say this deck is specifically built for the new format, while some of the decks that I'm not playing or that I'm playing against aren't built for the new format. Sometimes people can't accept change, but I voted for Barack Obama, and that's why Vanity's Emptiness and Maxie's are not in this deck. I'm going to summon Manju as a response to his Vanity's Emptiness and attack with it, but now he doesn't understand that if you're going to Vanity's me, at least have some type of board on the field, because if not, you're just going to be setting monsters inside of a 6 Samurai deck. He's going to activate a Blind Mystical Space Typhoon, and I'm like, too strong. Thank you for getting rid of the Vanities, boys. We lit. And now I'm going to continue on with my combo by activating Dark Dragon Ritual to special summon Paladin, and Paladin's effect to special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. That's going to be used to do a plethora of things, as you guys can see. Cali Effect going off, boys. We back in business. What's worse than 1 Red Eyes? 2 Red Eyes Black Dragons. What's worse than 2 Red Eyes Black Dragons? I don't know, just activating Red Eye's effect to summon the Paladin. Oh my. And then the Paladin is going to activate its effect when attacking a defense position monster to destroy it immediately, but that is good enough for game. This Red Eye's deck is really good at creating a lot of boards with 2,400 attack monsters, because, you know, that's just what it does. This time around, I'm going to be summoning Manju and then activating the Paladin Ritual combo uninterrupted to special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from my deck to my side of the field. I'm going to end the board with Red Eyes Flare Dragon and then Red Eyes Black Dragon, as well as a Dimensional Barrier. We're playing against Geventhar, and he is going to be playing Star Saps. He drew the stick and the chair, and I'm like, oh my god. Just kill me now. You're going to draw so many cards, and the Herald's going to come. Nope. D-Barrier for Rituals. I don't care what exceed you make. That D-Barrier is going to hit that Herald, because the Herald is probably my biggest enemy right now. With that, he's going to make the Satellar Knight Delteros, destroy one of my monsters, draw another card, then activate Delteros' effect. The fact that he got that Delteros for free, legitimately for free, and he still has 6 cards in his hand, 7 cards in his hand now, means that I am in for a load of trouble. The Deltero's 2,500 attack is going to hit me directly, and is going to activate the Ritual Sanctuary, mainly because he couldn't risk leaving it in his hand. Now, here is another player that decided to not go by the rules of the new format. I think no one is playing fair, for the exception of me. I'm going to activate Red Eyes Insight, sending Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon from my deck to my graveyard to add Red Eyes Transmigration. So you guys are going to see some swag. We're going to activate the effect of Manju again, and he is going to add Lord of Red from my graveyard to my hand. Go ahead, Cali Effect. You can do it. You can do it. You already activated Transmigration. Now go ahead and activate Transmigration, banishing a Red Eyes monster from my graveyard, and he's going to chain to Maxie, and I'm like, dang, you drew a 1-of? Really, bro? The 1-of? Then I'm going to activate Dragon's Mirror, and then I'm going to chain Lord of Red to destroy the Delteros. With that, I'm going to special summon First of the Dragons. I like saying it like that. He's going to draw 2 cards, but I have Lord of Red. Every time a card effect is activated, I can destroy 1 spell card or 1 monster card. So he's going to go ahead and activate the effect of Ritual Sanctuary, and I'm like, we're going to chain that Lord of Red. I need that field spell off the field, like now. Then he's going to activate Dawn of Herald, and I'm like, well, I don't want to destroy any monsters right now, so that's not really nice. And then with that, he's going to special summon Herald of Perfection, activate a whole bunch of combos, and I'm like, yeah, get the Herald off the field. He's like, nah. Discard. I'm like, oh, well, you did have targets. And as you guys can see, the game is looking very bleak for me right now. Herald is in attack position, 1800 attack. I'm thinking that Lord of Dragons can get over it. He's going to go ahead and summon the Manju, and then add the Machine Angel Ritual. And now I am in for trouble, because now he's going to give all his monsters 1,000 attack. As not as much trouble as you guys would think I am. He's going to attack into the First of Dragons, and First of Dragons effect states it cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster, with an effect monster. Can only be destroyed by battle with the normal monster, and is unaffected by monster effects. So yeah, I'm going to go to main phase 2, set the Solemn, and then past turn he's going to draw standby main. He has no outs to this card. That's the best thing about it. It's like, I understand why he quit. I was like, why'd you quit? You could just Raigeki me. But then you think about it, a lot of players don't play Raigeki, or don't play any traps for that matter. And when I summon cards like First of Dragon, it is really hard, if not impossible, to get over. This time around, you guys are going to see Red Eyes in full-fledged. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of Red Eyes cards, like Rick Ross would say, doing big things. Big Red Eyes cards. Big things. And so he is going to be playing, I think it was Gravekeepers. And I'm like, all right, take 500. You know, nice Necro Valley, Upstart Goblin. All right, I'm going to chain Upstart. I'm going to special summon Red Eyes from my graveyard. But take 500. Give me 1,000. That's good. That's good. I like all that. Necro Valley? Nah, I'm a special summon on the activation. You guys didn't know the Necro Valley must resolve in order for its effects to be applied. So I could special summon at that very time from my graveyard or move cards from my graveyard to the side of the field because Necro Valley has not resolved. But him playing all his Yu-Gi-Oh! Has cost him a grand total of a lot of life points, okay? Quite a bit of life points, am I correct? I'm going to use that to make Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, use his effect to special summon 2 tokens to my side of the field. I'm like, this Necro Valley is getting off the field. I need to special summon all of my Red Eyes monsters. And then he goes Divine Wrath. And I'm like, all right, well, at least you take 500 from it. I don't really know what else to say because that Necro Valley is... That Necro Valley is really good. So now I'm going to attack with the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, and we already know it's a Gravekeeper Spy. Everybody in the world knows it's a Gravekeeper Spy. Take 500. Thank you. That's all I can really say. The one effective Gold Sarcophagus for Raigeki is perfectly fine. I have no fears of Raigeki. I'm not seeing where this Raigeki card would hurt me. He's going to use Descendant to destroy my background. I'm like, I can't even D-barrier for Exceed or, you know, because that would be bad. But you can take this 500 damage due to the effect of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon and you keep activating cards. So basically what you guys are seeing is Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon completely dissipating my opponent through its own monster effect, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects, so it does not help the opponent. It is actually not helping anyone but me. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate pre-preparation of rights, and I'm like, all right, at least I can find a way. Nope, not gonna happen. I was like, man, I was really hoping to summon Lord of Right to break the Necro Valley, but I guess that can't happen either. He's gonna go ahead and activate a second copy of Necro Valley. He's basically essentially giving up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get into the deck profile. Alright, on to the awesome Red Eyes deck profile. This was actually one of the harder deck profiles to make, mainly because the deck has so many intricacies that it could fall apart or be inconsistent if you don't play the right cards, but this is my best attempt at it. I want to say that this deck is extremely good. So we run 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is the level 7 normal monster, the Joey Wheeler card, the card that you run a 3 of, mainly because it is a level 7 dragon with Red Eyes in its name, and it's also a normal monster, abusable by so many cards in this deck. We also run 3 copies of Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. It is a normal monster while in the graveyard or on the field without its second summon because it is a Gemini monster. When you second summon it, it gains the effect of if it inflicts damage to your opponent, you get to inflict more damage to your opponent. So it is an awesome card, but the most important thing is that it's a level 7 normal Red Eyes monster. 3 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. We actually run 3 for consistency purposes since we run 3 ritual monsters and we want to see this card as fast as possible. The main thing is that we don't run too many summonable monsters, so Manju doesn't hurt at any given time. It's also a Dark Paladin target once you search your Dark Paladin cards. On to the next, we have 2 copies of the Blackstone of Legend. This card isn't actually as necessary as people would think it is, but being able to recycle Red Eyes monsters back into your deck, and then if you don't use your normal summon, because we run 5 mandatory normal summons, and then I guess the Geminis are secondary normal summons, so you know we don't run too many normal summons, but the fact that it can put a Red Eyes monster on the board or shuffle a Red Eyes monster to our deck is pretty good. 1 copy of Meteor Dragon Red Eyes Impact. This card is used for the fusion summon of Red Eyes Fusion or the Dragon's Mirror summon. It is a necessary component, but it also does have a really good Gemini effect. If it is a Gemini summon, your Red Eyes monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects other than this card, so it's a pretty good card. 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This card is what we use to tutor Paladin the Dark Dragon to our side of the field. We use Paladin to tutor this card to the side of the field. It's 2,800 a monster, attack monster that keeps giving us Red Eyes monsters to our side of the field. Now it's 2 copies of Paladin the Dark Dragon. This card is completely amazing. Okay, first, when it attacks a monster in defense position, it destroys the monster through its effect. The next best thing is that you can tribute it to special summon any of your Red Eyes. So even if it's not just Red Eyes Darkness Metal, you can free special summon a Red Eyes Bee Dragon from your hand or from your deck to your side of the field. The fact that it was ritual summon doesn't mean means that we haven't used our normal summon, so we can
we can special summon the Red Eyes Blackfire, then normal summon, and then gain its effects. It's a really, really fantastic card. Next is one copy of Lord of Red. There was a time where I wasn't running Lord of Red, but its destruction properties are so good. The fact that when you activate a spell or a monster effect, you get to destroy a spell or a monster on the field, and then when your opponent activates a monster or a spell effect, you can do the exact same thing again. It is during either player's turn. This card is just nothing less than awesome. The ritual spell card is also searchable through the Dark Dragon Ritual and Red Eyes Insight. So 3 copies of pre-prep. All 3 of these ritual monsters are searchable through pre-prep, and you also have to remember these cards are very good when your opponent goes D-Barrier for Exceed. You do need another element, or when your opponent goes D-Barrier for Fusion. I feel like you need another element to play, and pre-prep just puts the deck over the roof. It gives you free cards, so it makes the ritual summoning very easy. 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. What this card does is that it special summons one of our Red Eyes monsters to our side of the field. I'm just gonna go ahead and say one of our Red Eyes monsters because all the other monsters' lives don't matter. Also, it gives our dragon monsters protection. If they were to be destroyed, you can banish this card instead. 2 copies of cards with the redstone. This card is completely awesome. First of all, we get to send a Red Eyes monster from our hand to the graveyard. It has to be level 7. We run 6 targets to draw 2 cards, and then we can send a Red Eyes monster from our deck to the graveyard. This fuels our plays so much, just tremendously, and mainly because the Red Eyes monsters are practically dead in our hand, it doesn't hurt to draw more cards. 2 copies of Dark Dragon Ritual. The biggest reason why I wanted to run this card is not because it gets to special summon the Paladin and the Dark Dragon from our hand to our side of the field. The biggest thing is that you can banish it to add 1 Red Eye spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. So not only after you tutor your Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to your side of the field, you can go ahead and search during the next turn a Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand. This card is so good. 2 copies of Silver's Cry. What Silver's Cry does is it special summons 1 normal monster from our graveyard. To be honest with you guys, you don't have to play this card. Return of the Dragon Lords is fine, but the fact that this deck can special summon so many times and bring out Red Eyes Dark Black Dragon to your side of the field and Maxi is limited, I just felt that it was really good in here. 2 copies of Dragon's Mirror. What this card does is remove from play from your side of the field or graveyard fusion materials listed on a Dragon Fusion type monster and special summon it. This card is really good just because we have so many ways to send our Red Eyes cards from our deck to the graveyard. We normally fill our graveyard up with so many dragons that we just can't special summon them all, so we Dragon's Mirror and it turned into a really huge monster in our extra deck. 2 copies of Red Eyes Insight. What this card does is that we can send 1 Red Eyes monster from our deck to our graveyard, and then we can add 1 Red Eyes card from our deck to our hand, 1 spell or trap. I wish it were monster, but this card is really good because it allows us to tutor all of our Red Eyes cards. And then 1 copy of Red Eyes Fusion. The only reason why we don't run more copies is because when you activate Red Eyes Fusion, you cannot normal summon or special summon for the rest of that turn, but essentially allows us to fuse a Red Eyes Fusion monster from our deck. So it's really good in that essence, and it's also very searchable, so you don't really need more than 1. And then Red Eyes Transmigration. It does retain the properties of being searchable by Red Eyes Insight or Dark Dragon Ritual, so and it also allows us to banish Red Eyes monsters from our graveyard to special summon Lord of Red. Awesome cards. That is it for the spells. For the traps, we run 2 copies of D-Barrier. I don't want my opponent going off. I mean, it's a really good card. One of the best cards of the format. 2 copies of Return of the Red. This card's awesome. So it allows us to continuously flood the board with Red Eyes. Once per turn, during either player's turn, we can special summon 1 Red Eyes monster from our graveyard. If it were to be destroyed by an opponent's, 1 normal monster from our graveyard to our side of the field. If it were to be destroyed by our opponent's card effect, we can special summon 1 Red Eyes monster from our graveyard to our side of the field. It's very tutorable. We have to control a Red Eyes monster to activate and resolve this effects, but it's still a really good card, especially since it's a Red Eyes deck. 2 copies of Solemn Strike from preventing the opponent from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And also 1 copy of Solemn Warning. This is the Solemn Trinity that we're playing. And then 1 copy of Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This card is way too good to pass up. What we do is we tribute our Red Eyes Darkness Metal or our Red Eyes or our Dark Exceed monsters with 2,500 attack or more. And then we choose Spell or Trap and we completely annihilate the opponent. If we're playing against decks like Paleos, we're going to obviously choose Traps. If we're playing decks that are Spell Heavy, then we're going to choose Spell Heavy. And more than likely, if we open this card, it's going to win us the game. That is it for the main board. For the extra board, we run 2 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. So this is the thing. When Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon has material, it cannot be destroyed by card effects. People should know that by now. The next best thing is when our opponent activates card effects, even if it is a counter trap. On resolution, our opponent will take 500 damage for every card activated. So if you summon these 2 cards, at 8 turns, your opponent will just lose just from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! 8 plays, not even 8 turns, from 8 plays. So that's really good. The next thing is something that people don't understand because they don't play Red Eyes. You can detach 1 material from this card to target 1 Red Eyes monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Really good for swarming the field inside of this deck. I probably would run 3. 2 copies of number 11 Big Eye. This card is Mr. Snatch your opponent's monster. If you ever wanted to take your opponent's cards and not have any repercussions, Big Eye is the card to do it. 2 copies of Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack. It's easy spot removal. I've summoned so many Red Eyes monsters that I don't even know what to do with them and still have more Red Eyes ways to summon more Red Eyes monsters. So you make Draco Sack, you tribute the Draco Sack, or you special summon tokens and tribute the tokens. Destroy your opponent's cards and then keep rolling. This card is completely awesome. 1 copy of number 74 Master of Blades. This was originally used for Dryden. We would make number 74 Master of Blades, and then our opponent can't Dryden pop it, or they'd have to suffer the repercussions. As long as, excuse me, as long as we don't have any other face-up cards for our opponent to destroy. It's also just really good against any deck that wants to target it. 1 copy of Gaia Dragon and Thunder Charger for piercing. 1 copy of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, and I have to couple it with Odd Eyes Rebellion and Odd Eyes Vortex, mainly because when Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon is destroyed, you can special summon either of these guys. I actually thought about running another copy of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon, just because it's a walking utopia, be able to negate opponent's monster's attack or your monster's attack for every reason that you want to. And when it does leave the field, it does replace it with an Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, a card that you can summon and is the strongest card in their extra deck, or Odd Eyes Vortex. So that's just, I mean, I just thought it was really good. 1 Castell, because we do have the room. You can make it with Paladin or Manju's, but you also could cut the Castell for a 3rd Red Eyes Flare Metal. It is your choice. For the rest of the fusions, 2 copies of Meteor Black Comet Dragon. This card, when it is summoned, you can send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, inflict damage up to half that monster's attack. The next thing is if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon 1 Red Eyes monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. Or I'm sorry, 1 normal monster. This card is just really good. It's a 3500 meter, it's a various target, and it replaces itself for the free fusion that we made. And then the last card we run is the First of the Dragons. You guys seen it in the replay. Sometimes when you summon this card, your opponent has no outs. They just scoop because there's nothing you can do. What it does is that must be fusion summon, cannot be special summoned other ways. You can only control 1 First of the Dragons. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, except by battle with the normal monster. And it is unaffected by other monsters' effects. So if they don't play like Raigeki, Dark Hole, Traps, then this card will probably outright win you the game. That is it for the extra deck. I hope that was 15 cards. Now on to the side deck. The cards that we side are simple. We run 1 copy of Skill Drain for effect negation. There are quite a few decks that really rely on effect negate or on their effects, so we can just activate Skill Drain and it doesn't hurt us that much. 2 copies of each virus. Full Force Virus was actually mainboarded at one point in time for Zodiac, but I expect to see less Zodiac decks running around. I don't expect to see Zodiac, I expect to see less. So Full Force Virus is for that. Deck Devastation is for almost every other deck that's not Zodiac. It really does cripple a lot of other decks. Keep in mind, these are pre-errated viruses. They go by what Crush card used to be. So for 3 full turns, if my opponent were to draw that card, it's going to get destroyed. These cards are almost absolute blowouts. 3 copies of Twin Twisters for back row hate. Like I said, if you're gonna take out the Twin Twisters, or you're gonna take out the Silver's Crown and run the Twin Twisters, you can run extra copy of the viruses. 2 copies of Kaiju Gamma Seal. I don't know about you, but I hate going over like Crystal Wing and stuff, so here's a Gamma Seal, bro. I mean, I was actually gonna run a Red Eyes Kaiju version, but I don't, it wasn't that needed. And then 2 copies of Chaos Hunter for Infernoid for decks I like to banish. And 3 copies of Denko Sekka for that deck that likes to set laws of back row. Like I said, you don't necessarily need your normal summon, so summoning Denko Sekka is probably the best bet to ruin your opponent. Well, that is it for the deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of Build Breakdown. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.